Hello, dear students. Today we shall be discussing the topic of practices in research in discourse analysis. What type of practices are going on right now in this modern age when we enter into discourse analysis? For this purpose, let us enter into this first approach, and that approach is going to be critical discourse analysis, which most of the time people term as CDA. According to this approach, we most of the time try to focus on the relationship which is present or exists or works between language and power. How does the power influence language, modes and change and styles, and how does language try to create power in the speech of a person? Similarly, we try to see how discourse constructs, maintains, and legitimizes power dynamics and social inequalities. This is the language, according to this approach, that determines how a person is maintaining his power and how a person is feeling powerless, and how the whole structure of the society attempts to maintain this structure of power and language. Then, similarly, these theories, which involve social sciences, such as Foucault's theory of discourse and power, that also significantly contributes into making this type of practices in research in discourse analysis. And same is the case with conversation analysis because when people talk to each other, the conversation styles, modes become very much important. That we need to see here how the people are interacting through the spoken words. Here, the written word is less important, more is the spoken word important. In the spoken word, for example, turn taking and the repair mechanism and sequential organization, these things become more important. These three things are quite visible in any type of conversation. The two people may be talking to each other, even one person may be talking to himself. At that time, one needs to see what is the type of turn taking going on, or what is the mechanism where something is required to be repaired, or how the organization has been done of the spoken conversation, because that also goes to explain number of things. And in the same way, in conversation analysis, we try to see how the people are constructing the meaning in the real time environment. When spoken word is before us, we can see how people are talking to each other, what is their style, what kind of assumptions they have, and what kind of impact they want to have from the people around them. The next approach or research practice is narrative analysis that goes to the stories, and one likes to see how these stories are narrated. The narratives is more important in these stories, and then comes the structure also. We need to see both of these things combined together and let us know how the story is being told. Not only this, but also some analysis is conducted in the functions of narratives in constructing the identities of the characters or that of the speakers, and how much they become socially important or significant, that is also seen. Same is the case with narrative analysis when we enter into the stories and see how the characters are behaving, how the plot of the story has been constructed, and there is the kind of temporality assigned to the story. So, according to this practice, more and more focus on the construction of the story, the purpose of the story, the plots, and the character of the story are used. And next is the genre analysis. Genre analysis looks into the things which are being written, whether they are being written as academic paper or as legal document or in any other formation. Whatever the formation may be, one needs to see whether the conventions, the historical or traditional conventions, have been followed, and as a result what type of features are present, because of which we may be able to determine the genre of that writing. So when we are in this type of practice of research and discourse analysis, at that time the genre is used in order to see how the specific communication has taken place, whether it was successful or it has not been so successful which it was intended, what were the kind of obstructions on the way, and how these obstructions can be removed. So genre analysis also helps us a lot in the understanding of the discourses. Then is the multimodal discourse analysis. That is very significant these days because now no discourse we can see on social media, that no discourse is without the images, the gestures, the layout, the colors or different modes, and the semiotics. So that is why this type of approach to discourse analysis as a practice of research has become even more significant, because here we do not look just one mode of writing, but also we go for multiple other modes, and we try to analyze how these modes interact within each other in order to create meaning, and what is the significance of one mode of making these meanings. We also try to find out some of the tools in order to see what is the meaning of the semiotics, whether they are playing any role in psychological circle or social circle. So when 3 to 4 styles of any writing are observed, are talked about, are discovered for the sake of meaning, and how do they do so, their interrelationship at that time, we term it as multimodal discourse analysis, and this is also very significant practice of research in discourse analysis. For the all type of practices, we have some of the theoretical frameworks which are very important. Just to mention a few, Halliday's systemic functional linguistics, that is something which plays a big role, and most of the people use it in order to understand how language varies, how does it create meaning, and what type of devices and tactics and tools are used in order to construct the meaning and how it can be understood. Halliday has provided a very vague framework in order to be used for discourse analysis. Then is the another thing which is called pragmatics and the speech acts. That theory was given by Austin and Searle. These two people point out that the meaning can be seen very rarely if we enter into the pragmatics of writing, and how these pragmatics function in the speech acts of the people when they speak out. So in that way, this theory also plays a very big role in making us understand. Gumpers comes next to gives us the interactional sociolinguistics. That means we do work on sociolinguistics, but what happens when sociolinguistics of one person interacts with the other person, and the same is the case with the communities, same is the case with the societies. So that helps us understand meaning in sociolinguistic context. Some of the other theories pertain to the sociology and psychology, for example, social constructionism, how language plays a big role in the construction of society, and that helps us understand different social constructions of the society. Then there's the post structuralism and discourse theory by Foucault. Foucault is also, with the essay Power and Discourse, given us a lot of ideologies and theories because of which we can understand how one discourse is working. There's a critical theory and Marxist theory also, which can be used for the purpose of research. So these theories are very significant with regard to knowing what practices of research are going on. Then we have some other approaches also to understand discourse, and that is with the help of interdisciplinary approach of making research in discourse analysis. It is called interdisciplinary because here we use not only linguistics but also sociology, anthropology, and psychology. It means that 3 to 4 or sometimes 5 disciplines combine together to understand the communication and the meaning, and therefore it is called interdisciplinary as well. And so there are some of the methods of analysis which may help us in understanding, because each subject of these different disciplines has certain methods and tools to understand. The basic purpose is that the meaning may be understood, and that can be done when we have one interdisciplinary approach. Some of the tools are also available. Everyone knows about these tools most of the time. NVivo, Atlas T, MaxQDA are used for coding and organizing qualitative data. This coding and organizing helps us understand the data better. Same is the case with some of the transcription tools, for example, Eland and Transana. These are used for creating detailed transcriptions and audio and video data. These tools make our work easier and comfortable and quicker. Then the corpus linguistics for this purpose. The softwares that have been developed are AntConc, Wordsmith tools. These help us analyzing large corpora of the text and makes our research is very easy. This approach, this practice is also going on in discourse analysis. But when we conduct any type of discourse analysis, some of the ethical considerations are really very significant. For example, before entering into the discussion or the conversation of any person, we need to get a prior consent from all the participants or whoever they are. We need to maintain the confidentiality of these people as well, and by keeping their names and identities as anonymous. We have to be culturally very much sensitive so that we not hurt anyone, we not make any mistake because of which some ethical borders may be crossed. So the filter of ethical should also be considered important in the practices of research in discourse analysis. So finally, we can say that discourse analysis is a very helpful tool. It's a versatile tool. It's a kind of program which helps us a lot in data collection and interpretation and in valuable insight into how language shapes and is shaped by social life. So that's all from this day. Hopefully you have liked it and understood something. If so, do not fail to hit the subscribe button and the like button and put your queries or comments if you like to. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon in some next video.